I did the Zen cleanse and I added things. So what I added, well, I didn't necessarily add things. I did add one thing for sure, is I added another liver oil push. So they call them pushes. And so when you do the oil mixture, which is the actual flush, I did that twice, and just like I did last time, and I mentioned that. And so you do the night of your oil and grapefruit juice or whatever juice you're going to use. And so my goal was once again to do another push the noon the next day. I couldn't do it again. I was just like, no, I can't do it. And so I figured I would just do it that night. And so I was actually ready about 2, I think it was about 3 o'clock. So I did another push. So I did 2. So I was utilizing the fact that my ducts were open and the gallstones or any stones or anything in there was a little bit softened. That's the whole process, the pre-process, and making the most of that. And so I did another push at 3 o'clock, and I think it made a huge difference. I'm pretty convinced at this point that your pre and post work is important, and you can make more out of it. Also, I think the coffee enemas are really helpful. That you're already in a state where your liver is like, okay, we're like ready to dump this stuff, and the ducts are open and all this. Why not, do what I would call notches down from the actual squeeze and the flush of the oil and all that? But why not do that? It's kind of like in the gym when you lift weights and you're going for strength and power, and you're lifting heavy. Then you lift a few heavy sets, or you do your PRs, and then you back off, and then you do some at 50% PR. Personal record is what a PR is. And so you back off, and then you get in some more sets in, and they're not like the big sets. They're not going to cause the muscle damage, which is really what you're going for, as the big sets. But you're in a very receptive state there, and so it's kind of the same thing. Just thought of that now. So I think that especially the green coffee enemas, are really helpful in this process. So every liver flush is different. When I'm scouring the forums and I'm listening to everybody else's experiences and trying to get all the data I can, it's, sometimes people will get very little if on their 5th one, let's say, and then they think they're done. They're like, okay, I'll do another one, and whoa, and then they get more. So it just depends on the liver, and emotions. We're all our organs are connected with emotions too, and just all kinds of stuff. Everything's all interconnected. So every cleanse is different. Every flush is different. And I did see your pictures, and you did get stuff out more than you thought you did, especially a couple days later. So as far as the prep, what I always go a little overboard. I don't go overboard. Well, sometimes I do, but let me just rephrase that whole thing. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, but I like to do things like to the nth degree, and so what I did, knowing that you should avoid fats and oils for a couple days. Well, I was already on the intestinal cleanse, but I was avoiding them for 5 or 6 days, so I really want to make sure that things are optimal and they work. I'm just willing to, but you know what, at the same time, it's every time you do something, even though you get the instructions, because you and I sat down and we talked about it a number of times, until you do it, everybody's like this, I think, until you actually do it and you have the memories, you have the procedures, now you've done experience, then you really understand. Then you really get, it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this next time. Just like the intestinal one that I did in the rainbow. I did it a little bit different this time. I added more, I just was more disciplined with it, and I got better results. So, the Zen cleanse, that it is made to be just a standalone, but you can always optimize everything. You can always take this tool, even though you'll get results with it, and say, okay, how can I get more out of this? So there's that. The cleansing like this is kind of a little reset. Like fasting is a little reset, and it just gets you appreciating. And we're going to talk about this with eating psychology too. It gets you appreciating food and nourishment and what tastes good, and gets you out of these habits that you've gotten into for one reason or another.